I'm intrigued by what if the emergence destroyed Earth? Because what happens in that?
I mean, that seems like...
Is that just like a cosmic episode?
Probably, and if it's not to say that like just because Earth is destroyed, there isn't anyone left in the MCU.
Welcome back to the Breakroom. It's the best time of year because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 finally releases this Thursday.
Let's go! Sonic!
It says Evan freaks out.
I was
and that
forced,
was the most
forced to read that copy. I did not pre-check
I got really
before the
nervous
show
about
started.
freaking out.
Oh boy. Woo! What if season 3 is almost upon us? Who's ready to unwrap a new episode every day? How joyous.
Woo!
There will be some days that I don't unwrap and some days where I'm unwrapping multiple. I guarantee you that. We got lots to talk about. Tons of headlines. Hit that graphic.
HED Eliani is... Nope.
Every time you try and do it, you can't do it. I'm Brandon Barrick. Joining me today, we got Evan Yee.
Hello. One day I'll be able to spell headlines.
Oh, we hope it. We hope so. And we also have Jessica Clemons.
One day I'll learn how to spell.
Oh, spelling's tough.
It's tough.
Two toughest words for me, guarantee and restaurant.
Restaurant. I know.
It's that UA stuff.
I
Messing me
know.
up,
My
man.
birthday's in January, and I still have a hard time doing January.
January. Oh, that's tough. Hey, if you can spell January, call us.
Let us know how
it's done. How do you do restaurant?
You can't
every
say
time...
JAN period. I want you to spell that full baby out.
Every time I gotta spell restaurant, I start strong and then I start panicking.
I get restaurant right. I noticed these are all common with the R's. When there's multiple R's,
It's that French influence on our mostly Germanic English language that makes it tough. Pommes frites, if you will. Hey, while I have your attention, we are so close to 100,000 subscribers on the Breakroom channel. Right now, we're sitting at Lin-Manuel Miranda's favorite number, 96,000.
No,
I don't get that reference.
It's in the Heights.
In the
reference.
Heights.
It's the song 96,000.
That showed, I just showed my ass on that one. If you haven't subscribed to the Breakroom channel right here on YouTube, we implore you to do so. It doesn't mean much. It's not going to take much time out of your day, but it would mean a lot to us if we could hit that 100K. We've had a lot of fun bringing this content to you, and we have big plans for the next year. So get us to that 100K and see what we can do with it.
Ooh, and of course, if you're watching on Twitch and you're sending in subs as well, thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
The support across all the platforms really helps, and it's nice to have people on all corners of the internet, because there's only two, YouTube and Twitch.
I thought the internet was a globe, so there's no corners. It's a
I think
world
it's a
wide
series
web.
of tubes.
A series of tubes.
Yeah.
I get that reference. Okay. We also want to remind you to check out nerdriot.shop. Right now, you can buy one, get one 50% off. Or buy two, get one free?
Yeah.
Who said this was okay?
I don't know, but our loss, your win.
Yeah, our loss, your win. Nerdriot.shop. I'm wearing a classic Choose Your Fighter shirt. This came out from our Deadpool and Wolverine collection. Ooh. We got tons of stuff on the merch website from all sorts of fandoms this year, last year, years before.
Yeah.
We've pumped out a bunch of stuff even just this month.
Yeah.
So check it out. Get something nice for yourself. Get something nice for someone you like. Get something nice for someone you hate, because you're going to turn a new leaf in 2025 and be all positive all the time.
Or get a little hat with a sigil on it and forget who you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can get your own little sigil. Just erase away those memories. Nerdriot.shop. Check it out. Supports the channel. Great. Before we get into the marvel of it all, we want to take a little second to talk Dune Prophecy.
Yes.
Real quick. We're not going to spoil anything because I did not watch last night's episode. Evan was so disappointed.
But it's a good one. I mean, we've been playing Dune Prophecy tag over here, right?
Yeah.
We haven't been covering it week to week, and sometimes Brandon's ahead, sometimes, actually no times have I been ahead, until today. When I watched all 3 episodes in a row. And last night's episode was a good one. I think it's interesting, there were some comments from the chat before we got started about how this show being only 6 episodes is a really interesting season length. For a show that's very dense in lore, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi said, or one of our other views in the chat said, the show is just starting to get interesting for me, and now it's about to end. There's only 1 episode left. Thoughts on that, guys? Of these shorter seasons? We talked a little bit about this when Gino was on the show most recently, but yeah, how do you feel?
Do you like a short season?
No.
Of television?
But if it depends. If they're hour-long episodes, I feel like they can't be what I want, which is 22 episodes a season.
Right.
I can't have 24 hours of a show.
Yeah.
But when they're hour-long, I still want them to be like in that 10 to 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how many episodes was Shogun? Shogun was a limited series. Now it's going to be a show, but they're going to do a season 2. But when that was just, I think it was only 8. Maybe it was less than that.
8 sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes when it's short like that, it kind of feels nice because you're like, okay, it's not going to like get dragged out too much. We're going to get to it. But this show, Dune Prophecy, does have a lot of characters, a lot of settings, a lot of times.
Yes.
They're jumping around in time constantly. And it's 10,000 years before the events of the movie, right? But it does feel like, well, they don't know if there's going to be a second season of this show. Or I don't know what they originally conceived of it. But it seems like they just wanted to tell a story and they're going to tell it. But, you know, it does seem like they're running out of time to tell this story.
Yeah.
And what's going to come after it. Jessica, you haven't started it yet, right?
No.
And Evan and I want you to, and so does your mother.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch Dune Prophecy?
Maybe. It depends. We have to watch so much stuff.
I know.
I want to.
But you personally, do you want to watch the show?
Yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to watch it. It's just there's always a new movie or show that I have to do for work, and I don't have time to watch it.
And Dune is it's jam packed, right?
Yeah.
Like I tried to watch one of the episodes, I think, while during the work day. Like
No,
I
you
was
can't do
like,
that.
and I was like, oh, I'm prepping the headline script, and wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
They're eating the whales that are also furry too.
Yeah.
And,
The beautiful furry
Beautiful
whales, and they're
furry
adorable.
whales.
Well, we've only seen dead ones. I don't know what they're like when they're alive. They could be
we should
awful.
put out a furry whale plush.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Nerd Ride Touch Up furry whale plush.
Isn't every whale plush furry? Okay, you couldn't have like a
It's just
a latex
like
plush? That
just
would
the
be
same
innocent.
consistency of like a seal.
You go over to
just
someone's
flubber.
house, and they have stuffed animals on their bed, and when you get to the whale, it's like slick. You would be like, I'm not touching that
Why does
thing.
it feel like it's cold and moist?
Why? I don't like it.
Golden Moist plushes. Hey, come to Nerd Ride Touch Up.
Those ones are gonna be $80 a
idea.
piece.
Listen, they're gonna be expensive, and you know why.
you
They're
know
gonna
it.
be expensive. I do. I have been enjoying Dune Prophecy. It does feel a lot like Game of Thrones, where there's a lot of characters, a lot going on. But they have even less episodes than Game of Thrones does to tell this story. So I don't know.
And I mean, again, like Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, I feel like I'm just getting attached to these characters. That jump in time is really hard because we're seeing characters being settled where they are, but then finding the thing that is disrupting them is not necessarily emotional, but it's very plotty, right? It's very much like these events in this world are just like, oh, these things are changing. And what is your emotional state to it? Obviously, we're learning, but it is tough when it jumps around so much. And there's so many characters to serve, like you said.
Right.
So, hoping for a good season finale. It feels like it's going to be a big cliffhanger. They're probably hoping for delivery on a season 2.
Maybe.
I will say, my last note on this is something I was really worried about the show is that they weren't going to be able to achieve the same highs as the Dune movies, just visually, production design-wise, just on a lower budget. I have to say, I think it's been very consistent. Like, these episodes have been visually very consistent to the point that I'm like, okay, it's not the movies, but you guys are you're not reaching further than your means, I don't think. I think they're like, we can deliver on this type of tone and feel, and overall, that's working for me.
Yeah, they've built some like good practical sets. I've been listening to the podcast, the companion podcast that HBO puts out, and I've talked to a lot of the production people throughout the season so far. And like in episode 4, we had this great meeting of like the Lions Rad, like the big kind of galactic senate, for lack of a better word. And they built like a big space, and they lit it all simultaneously so that they could just like, they filmed over 4 days, and they were just cutting around a bunch, but it felt good and lived in and real. I like the production design of this show. Jessica, when you do watch it, in episode 1, the princess wears a wedding dress that's absolutely gorgeous. They had the costume designer on to talk about. It's red. It's kind of like these like pieces of fabric, like she's strapped in a cage. It's great. Okay. It's really well done, and like they've done great jobs with the costumes all over. The costume designer pointed this out. The sisters, when they're in like the sisterhood at the temple, in those black kind of cloaks, they're actually pants. They're not just like dresses. There's like an over dress, like, but they were in pants.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
How fun is that? And they have pockets, apparently.
Hey, shout out pockets.
So functional. But okay. Yeah, maybe when we come back in the new year, let's regroup on Dune Prophecy.
100%.
That's also one of those shows I watch with the captions on, because I can't understand anything that's being said.
And we'll hear from certified Dune goon Zach Huddleston.
Okay. What else we can talk about today? Well, today we got confirmation that the Superman trailer will be releasing this Thursday at 6 a.m. Pacific. This is, of course, the new DCU film, Superman, formerly known as Superman: Legacy. Yes. Now just Superman. David Cornsweet, starring as the titular Man of Steel himself. They're dropping a trailer this Thursday. We got this poster that got released. This little cute poster. I think we have
poster
an image
in
of
motion.
It.
Yeah, there we go.
Look at it moving. That's how fast it's going.
A tease of the score, I think, potentially almost put Berg back to sleep. To quote him.
They first released a poster, then they kind of released this like moving image poster. Which remember when this was like a big thing a few years ago? Like everyone was doing these like motion posters on Twitter, and then as a lot of newspapers went online only, right? They started like releasing their digital covers.
Oh yeah,
like online became. I think Sports Illustrated still does like a swimsuit edition, and they do that. They release like the digital covers. One. It's like a big deal. Oh.
Interesting.
It's very Harry Potter. I don't know.
It is very Harry Potter, right? We got this also this teaser too of the trailer announcement. I guess it's like I assume this is probably the Fortress of Solitude, just like the spinning S, zooming in on it. It tells us to look up. You think they're gonna project this one on the moon?
Ooh, do you think all this drone activity has been Superman's?
They're gonna shoot a man into space.
They've got Superman drones flying over New Jersey right now.
Yeah, all the drones are creating a big network so that they can show the trailer. He's in the sky.
They've been doing.
I mean, let's hope that's what the drones are for.
They've been doing press conferences about the drones this entire time, and we think it's political, but it's actually
just James Gunn.
James Gunn is like, do not tell them, Warner Brothers. Make them think it's something dangerous.
That's insane. Also, why New Jersey?
Yeah, that's true.
I think
it's good so you can see it from across the water in New York.
And then it just says like 6 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah. So they're like up at what, 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
They're up at 3 a.m.
No, that's 9 a.m. for them. They're ahead of us.
6 a.m. Pacific.
Oh yes, we're doing 6. Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah, they'll be at 9. Oh, so they'll be at work, ready to go. We're the ones
they don't work in New Jersey.
Freaking tired.
Well, speaking of being at work and ready to go, we'll be here live on the Breakroom set, but live both on Twitch and the new Rockstars YouTube channel at 8 a.m. Pacific, because we're not waking up at 6 like you little freaks. But we're gonna react to the trailer, take some questions. Should be a fun time as we get our first look about what the DCU is gonna be. My biggest question is, who's bringing in coffee?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's not me.
Should we make Eric do it?
Maybe. Yeah, him and his baby.
Yeah.
Him and his baby. I know that I don't have anything at home like a baby, but I'm not bringing it.
You have that cat. That cat's
I got a demon and a loud roommate. That's it.
I got a demon and a loud roommate.
And I'm still not bringing in that coffee.
Yeah, I mean, the bagel places will be open.
I don't think we're getting bagels or coffee. What's going on here? Do you want me to buy you a bagel?
Evan needs a reason to be live that early in the morning.
Reason.
He needs a good reason.
Yeah.
He needs a good reason.
It's Superman's not enough.
Superman is not enough. You heard it here first. Unless Superman is bringing me a bagel.
What's the thinking behind Thursday? Why Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday is also the midway point of Creature Commandos as well.
Oh.
And episode 4 is supposed to be a big one.
Oh, okay.
So maybe there's some link there.
Oh, because it'll come out midnight.
Creature Commandos will come out
Wednesday to Thursday midnight.
Yeah.
Then Thursday morning we get Superman, and in the trailer it will be revealed that instead of being with Lois Lane, he's now with Weasel. That way we can make sure that Sean Gunn gets another part in the movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, Sean Gunn is already playing someone in the Superman movie.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
He's isn't he Pedro Pascal's character from Wonder Woman 84? The TV guy.
Oh yes, he is.
Yeah, Sean Gunn's playing that part.
Yes, that guy. So
I was panicking. Like I was just making
panicking.
stuff up out of my mind. Just crazy stuff. I mean, we know so many people that are going to be in the Superman movie.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the wiki fandom for it, so many people have been cast all over. I mean, we know this movie is like Superman, kind of like year 2 or 3.
Yeah.
There's already like Guy Gardner, Green Lantern around. There's already Hawkgirl. There's already like all these other characters. Nicholas Hoult is playing Lex Luthor.
Apparently, it's supposed to be really menacing. Lots of people saying you've never seen this side of Lex Luthor before.
Do we
I
know?
was going to say Nicholas Hoult. I was like, I I probably have.
Do we know if he shaved? Did he shave his head?
He has to be.
Ooh,
They
yeah,
have to be.
You don't think they're
I
doing a
think
bald
so.
cat?
I think there was
Oh,
a TikTok
yeah.
that he did with Rachel Brosnahan
Oh.
and David Corn Sweat, where I think you see all three of them together. I think he was bald.
His
for
hair
it,
will
yeah.
grow
Okay.
back quickly.
Well, you never know.
That's true. It's just gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
it could be
no.
traumatized from it.
Man, if he looked like Lex during Juror number 2, he would have gotten away with anything.
Ooh. Did you
Could've
see
been.
Juror number 2?
Nope, that was
Oh,
just
okay.
I was being fake.
Oh. I mean, he looks good in the
Why'd you call him
trailer.
out on his fakeness?
Looks good on the
It
trailer.
was good in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that he's not bald in Nosferatu.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
He has the most hair I've ever seen on that boy.
Oh,
More
okay.
than Beast?
Okay, wait.
That was a lot of hair. That was a lot of
Wait,
hair.
that was a lot of hair. That was a lot of hair.
But it was patchy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So tune in, get up, set your alarm clocks, or if
Yeah.
you're in jolly old London, just stay awake. Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, live reactions,
8
discussions.
a.m. Pacific here for
Oh,
us.
sorry, 8 a.m. Pacific here. Woo. 11 a.m.
Almost locked us
Eastern.
into being here before bagels were open.
11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live.
Yeah.
Send in your questions, your thoughts.
Yeah.
Watch it with us. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, so again,
excited
on
to see
the
it.
Breakroom Twitch and the new Rockstars YouTube, and the replay will be available on the Breakroom YouTube if you miss it.
Yeah.
So that's all that.
You also, in that little tweet they released, you mentioned this, there's a little bit of the score we
Yes,
heard.
yeah.
We don't know if this is like the final score of the film because it definitely plays on John Williams' kind of original score in the Donner film, right? With the ba 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 da ba 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 ba.
Yes,
ba,
yeah,
ba,
yeah,
ba, ba, ba. But it's kind of like people singing it, which to me reminds me a lot of like the Snyder years, right? There's a lot of like that kind of choral.
Oh,
Zack Snyder loved that kind of
okay,
like
yeah,
choral
yeah.
singing. So it's almost like they're mixing the two. We'll have to see. The composer for this film is John Murphy, who worked on a lot of James Gunn's films.
Yeah.
He worked on The Suicide Squad. He worked on Guardians 3. He did the score for Sunshine for both of the 28 later films, 28 Days and 28 Weeks
And also,
later.
as a good distinction, right? He's not behind like the existing songs that James Gunn pulls, like his famous like needle drops
Correct,
and stuff, right?
yeah.
This is the person who's doing the orchestral
This is the score.
for
Yeah.
the film.
They said he scored Guardians 3, and I was like, I don't remember what the score is for this film. All I remember is like the
Dun, dun, dun,
The awesome
dun,
mix stuff.
Yeah, the awesome mix, yeah.
but I'm sure if you played it, I would recognize it. You know,
Yeah.
they're in the background. Okay, enough DC.
See ya, DC.
See you, DC. We're gone. We're leaping over that franchise in a single bound.
Yes.
And we're moving on to Marvel.
Evan jumping in to say we want to thank one of our sponsors, Mando. You know, Zach isn't here to sing their praises, but I am. And as a proud Mando user, I gotta say, this stuff really works. Like, it really does. Mando is a whole body deodorant, and when we say whole body, we mean whole body. They asked us to start with a question that's a little not safe for work, but see if you can follow this metaphor instead. If your baseballs smell like foul balls, Mando has deodorant for you. And if you got a problem with that metaphor, take it up with Berg. Mando's whole body deodorant comes in 3 forms: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long days at the game or at the bar, or if you're like me, running around town and no time to take a break. You really do smell good all day because it stops odor before it starts, and it's safe to use on your entire body, pits, package, feet, and everywhere in between. Mando comes in 4 cologne quality scents: bourbon leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. I'm a solid stick bourbon leather on the pits kind of person myself, but you can choose whatever good smell you like to cover up your stinkiest area. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code BREAKROOM at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Support our show and let them know we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Let's start with these what if episode titles. We got this little lovely tweet that came out kind of showing the different titles. They love to do this, give it up front. Running through the titles, and this is the order they're coming out in.
Yeah, this is the order, and also a shout out Tyler, who's our social media manager on New Rockstars, who put together this great graphic pairing some of the
lovely.
things
Yes,
with
yes.
the titles with the images.
We have what if the Hulk fought the Avengers. That's kind of like the mech episode. What if Agatha went to Hollywood? What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? What if Howard the Duck got hitched?
Whoa.
What if the Emergence destroyed Earth? That should be a pretty simple episode. And what if 1872? Not a Taylor Sheridan show, but a what if episode. Then we have what if the Watcher disappeared? And then what if?
What if
What if? The final episode, and this is the end of the series. This is the last season of the kind of what if animated episodes. Any of the episode titles jumping out to you? Very surprising to you? I'm surprised by What If 1872 because I think it's lazy.
I mean, I kept trying to remember, like, what is this one? Is it a sequel to the 1602? I'm like, no, it's just the Western one.
This is the Cowboy, Shang-Chi, and Kate Bishop episode.
This is the one that they probably just had genuine fun. It was just like, we just want to do something that's fun and wacky. I feel like a lot of these probably stem on something, but that one is probably just one to just... What if we put Kate Bishop and Shang-Chi together and made them fight his sister?
I'm intrigued by what if the Emergence destroyed Earth, because like what happens in that?
I mean, that seems like...
Is that just like a cosmic episode?
Probably, and if it's not to say that like just because Earth is destroyed, there isn't anyone left in the MCU.
Right.
So it's it's probably like the Emergence destroyed Earth, and then out on this whatever he is, Nick Fury was in the Marvels.
The sword base.
Yeah, sword, or another alien planet that has like the scrolls or something here. They'll come be like, oh, well. Shit, there goes our best.
Yeah, it better not be that like Tony Stark was having a party in space and everyone was in space at the time.
Well, even if that's the case, it is what if. So I'd allow it because I'm like, just go. I guess go with it.
It'll be interesting if that kind of establishes like, oh no, you kind of need a ton of these characters from Earth because they're powerful and they're keeping the universe together. Yeah. And so that happening, and then all the Celestials get screwed and they all get killed, and they're like, we messed up. Let's do another one, and then they start a whole new multiverse.
It would be crazy if this one was also like in that universe they had found a planet for the Skrulls to live on. Then the Earth got destroyed, and Nick Fury's like, guys, we got it. What? Just a little bit. I'll get you on the next one.
You know what they say, fool me once. You know, we work off that, right? We're still friends.
Nick Fury just flies up to the planet full of Skrulls, and he's just like, hey guys, I found you this planet. My home got destroyed. Here are your new characters. I need you all to be the people I already know.
And they're rebooting Secret Invasion.
We're going to do Secret Invasion again.
We're going to do it all over again. Can you bring up that graphic one more time that Tyler made? We have 1872, the red. Which one is the one that has Mysterio?
Oh, that's a great question. Because that's not as obvious, right?
Yeah, because that'll be the one with...
Ultron? Right? Or
maybe,
no?
or definitely have like
that's
was it Riri Williams flying through like the doo-wah and stuff like that?
Could that not saying this would be the case, but could that be what if the Emergence destroyed Earth because it's not actually real, it's a simulation in which Mysterio's forcing us all to believe it.
Wow, truly, yeah.
It's got to be something like that because it's not 1872. There's no way Mysterio's just all of a sudden being like, I'm a cowboy.
I'm like, I've got a steam-powered holographic machine.
Now you go underneath this little sheet right here. Now you think this is a camera, but it's not.
He's just using like Phantasmagoria when they painted monsters on lantern slides, and he's like, "Boo! I've scared you. Boo! Boo! Boo!
My name is.
This train is gonna drive right into this room. Just kidding. It was a Nickelodeon device."
And everyone's screaming in the theater.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It has to be one of those. It can't be it cannot be that episode. The Hollywood episode seems like it is structurally just for Kingo and Agatha.
Yeah, it seems like that'll be like a fun musical episode. And then
same with the Gundam. The Gundam episode is strict. Like we've seen so many snippets of the Gundam episode that it's like I don't think that's gonna appear in that one either.
I would imagine Mysterio maybe shows up in like. Could be the finale or something.
It could be.
Really?
I mean, because we did see, right, the one with Mysterio also had, like, Ironheart flying in, like, the Field of Reeds, where those guns were going off and stuff. It would be crazy if that's the one where the emergence happens and we just check in on every hero in their afterlife. Being like, how do we get out of here? Can we reverse what happened?
I'm not saying Tyler didn't do this or did do this. Are those are all the episodes that Tyler put up there, right?
Yeah, there's only 8 episodes.
The original. Oh, okay, so it's only
and these are the like we obviously this is like not confirmed where these images are appearing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like this is very likely based off the title, based off what we know. Yeah, these are the images that we'll see those shots in these titles. Yeah.
So we're missing Mysterio and Riri. We're missing the 2 times we've seen Riri, I guess. Yeah. Technically.
Could be the same episode. Yeah, we don't know for sure.
We're missing the Mysterio and Riri. We're also missing what could be Shumagorath versus Captain Carter, Cohorty.
Oh yeah, like tentacles.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine like the Captain Carter stuff comes in probably in like the the finale, right? She probably comes back for the finale.
Yeah, it has to. I only believe that because we did talk about it briefly, and we were like, what characters would be coming from What If into the MCU? And I immediately was like, clearly it's the Watcher, but it could be Peggy Carter since there's been that little scoop that might not be a scoop, but she is.
It's confirmed Haley Atwell's coming back for Doomsday.
For Doomsday, yeah. So it could be her character from.
It could be the Peggy Carter we know and love from whatever timeline was created when her and Steve went off together, or she could be playing like Captain Carter.
I mean, I think that like that's kind of a fun way to set up those movies, right? That you have her as Captain Carter, give her a second shot in live action, that she either remains as someone that's in play for Secret Wars, or as someone that like lays it down on the line to like sacrifice herself for everybody else, you know? And I think that's a fun way, maybe a better send off for that character instead of getting just like chopped in half every.
That was just a fun gimmick.
I would like it just to be the Peggy Carter and the Watcher version from What If going into the MCU.
Yeah.
Only because Peggy Carter has been the same Peggy Carter we've seen in What If. It's just in different timelines. Yeah. And same with the Watcher. It's just the same Watcher, just in different timelines. So then both going into the MCU wouldn't be that shocking. It wouldn't be that crazy. She'd be like, yeah, there's a universe which. Like, instead of Scarlett Johansson, it's Lake Bell. Yeah. And people would be like, okay, whatever. Yeah, we know that there's different versions of reality.
That would be great if, like, Captain Carter comes from the What If. She's in Doomsday, and then she meets Steve Rogers, Captain America, but he's the one who got the Vital Rays. And she just thinks he's gross because she's in love with Skinny Steve.
She sees him,
and she's a little more jacked up too in the cartoon.
Like, get out.
She sees this like muscled version. He's like, "Hey, Peggy." He's like, "Get this freak out of here.
Get this freak out of here.
Get this freak out of here. Ew. You look stupid with your big muscles. I like my man skinny and trapped in an iron machine.
And an iron machine trying to fight for me.
Because that way they can't run away."
Regular chatter, Shree brought up that we also which episode is Storm going to appear in?
Oh.
We've seen a lot of those images, right, of Storm with Mjolnir, kind of as the goddess of thunder.
I assume she is in the episode that's with Kahorti, Natasha Lyonne's character, and Captain Carter, because she's also fighting the same beast that is in that like weird scene where they're flying around the monster. So those are in the same episode. It's gonna be like a 4-team of girls kicking ass. I just don't know where it's gonna be, but it does make sense to be closer to the finale.
Yeah. Well, let's bring up.
Oh, sorry. Yes, bring it up. What if? It is definitely the what if.
Totally,
yeah, what if, yeah.
I mean, well, that's it's a good segue, too, because, like, you know, we've heard a lot that this could be the Watcher's story. When do you think that really starts to come into effect, right? I feel like, structurally, this might follow season 1 a little bit more, where it's sporadic, but I think episode 5, the emergence of Short Earth, might start to really ramp things together, right? Might really chart a path on how the Watcher is going to intervene or not in this season, and, like, how... what it looks like, you know, where it goes from there.
I bet the last 2 episodes are like a double episode, right? Where it's like a to-be... Like, the Watcher disappearing is Ultravision doing something to make the Watcher go away, and then the last episode is them trying to get Uatu back.
I assume that when the Watcher disappeared, it's because the consequences of his actions, finally, of always intervening, and it's the 3 other big-headed Watchers that are like, hey... Yeah. No more. We're pulling you out of this.
You're doing way too much interacting and not enough watching.
One time we let slide. Yeah. You've done it 7.
Yeah.
And then you showed up in another series. He was in I Am Groot.
Did you forget who you are? You're the Watcher, not the Toucher.
Not the Toucher.
You were an X-Men 97. You weren't supposed to be there.
You weren't supposed to be there. That big ass head. Oh my god. They're so mad. And they're gonna pull him out. And then it's gonna be up till. And then I think pulling him out allows Shumagorath to come out.
Okay.
And that is a character that technically has been like that, at least a tentacle version, or what we think is him, has appeared in like every season.
Okay.
Or it.
Yeah. Sarah Hatch-Joyan, speaking to our earlier point, brought up she loved Steve from 1602, and he was Nomad Steve. I don't know if she really loved him per se. She was definitely enamored with the idea that it looked like someone she knew, right?
Yeah.
I think it was still Steve, but maybe that could transcend being her being like. Beyond what he looks like, it's like, this is still my Steve. Yeah. Not sexually am I attracted to it. Still my Steve.
I like this thought from Latin Blue in the chat saying 1872 sort of meta since Haley Steinfeld was in True Grit. Yeah, it'll be fun to see if there's any references, to her time in that, her kind of like breakout first role too. I imagine. Super Ultranova 11 saying, I feel like the final episode is going to be super meta. It's going to be a double what if, like what if it was live action or something like that. Do you think we get any live action scenes in this show.
Oh.
In this final season of What If. And we can talk about what final season means in a second.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the Watcher disappearing to somewhere else, and then it just goes to black, and then we see him appear in the live action. But also, I think anything is truly possible with Marvel. I would have never guessed that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, so it wouldn't surprise me if out of nowhere we see the animators animating or some shit.
Oh my god, classic.
Jeffrey Wright goes and talks to Kevin Feige and is like,
he comes in with the script in his glass. He's like, I don't think my character would do this.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I mean, I could see them, like the final episode, you see the Watcher appear, and like they take an old clip from the MCU, and you see like the Watcher appear in it.
Oh, sure,
like
yeah.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, maybe or the most likely thing, right? We got the tease at the end of episode 2 that was kind of shoehorned in about him seeing the Yggdrasil tree. Mm-hmm. Could be something where he does approach Loki, or you see a live action Tom Hiddleston Loki like watching a TV.
Okay.
What if or whatever, and turning it off and being like, I'm not paying $27.99 a month for that or whatever.
Dang.
I ain't doing that.
Dang.
I like the idea of bringing it back to the Yggdrasil tree, especially because what if the Watcher sees something that's out of the animation's control, and he's like, oh, I need you to. Can you please? And he's like, yeah, and he pushes him into a timeline that is the live action that we don't maybe see at the end, but we see in like.
Okay. I like that.
What he just randomly shows up in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
He's just in the corner.
Well, he'll know what happens to Taskmaster.
Yeah. Oh my! Don't get me started.
No.
Don't get me started. Such a useless idea. I love that character.
In the chat, let us know if you have any other final thoughts about What If before we start to move on here. But I want to ask you guys, so What If, obviously, it's a convention. It's been really interesting. We talk about it around the office here at New Rockstars a lot. Like, this show could ideally keep going on forever. You could keep posing what if stories, like what if this was changed, what if this. I think our kind of reception, maybe as a team, of the show overall has been like a little bit mixed. There's definitely been some things that have worked, some things that haven't worked. Do you think they'll bring this back in any means? It feels like this cutting it off at season 3 feels more to me like a business decision, right? It's like, we don't know what we want to do with animation. We also don't know like how we want it to entangle with like our main story too much. Let's take a pause on this. And also like, we don't want to like have this show that like, it's season 3 and then season 4 can happen whenever, but we won't. Are we working on season 4? It's easier to say.
They don't want to keep getting asked about it.
Yes. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think it's been, as their first kind of like Marvel animation thing, it had its highs, it had its lows. I've said it before. I'm not like 100% in love with the art style of the show. It has been difficult to determine you can't always look at a character, especially like a white male character on that show, and know who it is necessarily just from looking at them. The kind of just like blank faces sometimes, or just like missing a little bit of like panache that. In what I've seen from like Spider-Man No Way Home and like Eyes of Wakanda, they've really like honed in on way better. And it's even X-Men 97 looked great. Yeah. Looked incredible.
Yes.
Now they were kind of using an art style that already existed, but they took that 90s art style and made it look a lot better and very clean. And they did a lot of fun animation on that show. There's been some episodes I really liked, but originally when they pitched the show, they said it was just like an anthology series. Each episode was different. Then they kind of surprised us with this. No, we're actually telling a story across a few episodes that comes together in the end. And that was like a fun surprise. But then I feel like they painted themselves in a corner where now they were kind of stuck where they still have these standalone episodes, but they're still telling that overarching story. So I'm kind of happy they want to just kind of conclude it and then move on. And yeah, bring this series back sometime, but play around with the art style more would be my suggestion. Like, it would be more fun if the show had different, like each episode looked different, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. It costs so much money, but that would be fun. I think a lot of the critiques we do have is because we work in this business where we have to dissect.
Sure, we looked at. We don't watch each episode just once.
Yeah. If I was watching at a normal scale, like a normal person, I would be having the closed captions on, which say, "Oh, this is Bruce Banner, and this is this is Steve Rogers." I think I love all of What If so much. I think it's a great concept and a great idea, and it gives way to just believing in things things that could never happen in the MCU, which I think is so easy for someone that really loves the MCU to do, to be like, oh, what if this happened? Can I write about it? Let's blow that out. I even think the comics did a really good job of it. I think the only difference and the hard part about it is after a while, there's not that many characters in the MCU, and that's where the comics came in handy, because the comics could take any character in the Marvel. But in the series, in the MCU, there's a lot of characters, but not as many to make a different story for every season if you have like 12 episodes a season, if that makes sense.
And also, I'm sure they want to try to get as many of the original actors back for the voices as much as possible, and that makes it a little bit a harder consideration too. Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. I just think it's really hard to actually do, especially when in 2024. I think they would have had to come back after the Fantastic Four was involved, after it involved even more characters, after the X-Men get in, because then you can have so much world to build with and so many stories to write with. But right now it's like, okay, we did all the original Avengers in season 1. Season 2, let's do a lot of the Guardians. Because the Guardians have so many characters that you see. Even the Collector shows off Howard the Duck. It's like we see so many versions, and then it's like, okay, now we don't. Let's use Peggy Carter's story again. Even coming up with Cortez episode, I'm like, this is a great idea, but people don't know who this character is.
And and they created it, right? It's not necessarily a what if in the same sense that we were thinking, what could happen. I think like one of the things that had never occurred to me is like when working here is that you guys would often say like, what if the other half got snapped, right? Which is a great premise that they'll probably never do, but because of budgetary concerns. But that is also so interesting to me, and like that crux point or that point of it is of what if is like what I want. I'm hoping we see a little bit more of,
and I think they were really hesitant to make good guys bad in the what ifs, which in the comic books happened a lot, and that would be way more fun. They were happy to make bad guys good in the What If animated series, right? But you didn't have those moments of like, what if Spider-Man killed all the criminals, right? He didn't feel bad about it, or those are always fun. The classic, like what if Captain America was, Hydra or something like that, which they did do in the comics. But it makes me think of like the Red Son of Krypton, right? What if Superman landed in Russia instead of like landing in the U.S. and was raised under like the Soviet regime? What would that look like? Right. That's kind of fun to play around with those ideas.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm excited for this final season. Excited to see where it goes. Hopefully they bring it. I'm hopeful though that they bring this back in some form. Captain Cannabis asking, do you think they'll bring back What If, but focus based on just the X-Men or even Spider-Man? And I assume they mean like maybe the animated properties only, like leading into just the animated looks of these new shows of X-Men 97, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. What ifs for just those things? Do you think we'd see something like that?
Maybe. It could be fun to just like focus on a section of Marvel, right? Like if you just did all X-Men stories.
Again, they could only do like one season. Yeah. But I also think it matters. Money is big for Marvel and a lot of these companies. So I think it would cost a lot of money to, because they're two, like even though they're still under the same umbrella, it's different packaging and different ways that they're executing their animation and how they're doing their animated styles. So they would have to literally go into X-Men 97 and their team and be like, hey, how did you guys package and deliver all these deliverables? And that's probably different than what they do. So that costs them a lot more money to just make this one episode.
More collaboration for specialty looks and stuff. Which we don't know if that is like even on the cards right now.
I don't even want to imagine. I don't even want to imagine. And this is only from the years I worked on Bob's Burgers. And I'm like, when they did the Archer crossover, that was just voice acting. That wasn't even the animation style of Bob. It was just the voice actors. And it was such a hassle. Thank God, not even thank God. That's why Disney had to take over FX and Fox, because they were just like, hey, it's easier. It's easier this way. Now you guys can do all the crossovers you want. Abbott Elementary and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
I think if they do bring this show back, they should not worry about making it all tie together.
I think so.
No, they never should have, and that's what it should have been forever. Yeah. I love getting Peggy Carter at least knowing that she's gonna be there every season. I love Peggy Carter. This is their way of giving us Peggy Carter without giving us back her TV show. But I'm like, I would have just loved seeing a million times of like, what if Captain America sided with the Nazis? Maybe not that one, but something.
You're always begging for it.
Yeah, but what if Red Skull actually owned a kindergarten?
It is a German word, kindergarten.
Ah, yes. I am Iron Man 10. Had this theory. I think we've said it on the show before, but about the TVA recruiting some of these characters, some of these more like what if characters, like Natasha Lyonne's original character Captain Carter, Cohorty. Do you think we see the TVA at all in this show?
We should.
I bet they would have them show up. Because they haven't
Do you
shown
feel
up
like
yet,
it's too live action breaky though?
Well, they're trying to get it. They're trying to piece it together at this end.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that because Brad Winderbaum said that there was something that's going to happen that will be like a continuation into Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's like, okay, so something's going to have to break the gate eventually.
It would make sense that if this is the end of their What If series, right, and something is going on with the Watcher, that he needs executive level help. That would be people at the TVA. That would be like a Celestial and like the Eternals. That would be someone like Eternity or Death or something like that, right? I'm sure they want to tie it together. And I think of the timelines of these shows and how it takes them a couple years to kind of get the show from like writing to animation to voice acting to get it all finished. And there always is an episode that doesn't make the cut. 2 years ago, they were probably thinking about TVA stuff. But with like Loki coming back for a second season, knowing 2 years ago, would they have known about Deadpool and Wolverine having the TVA? Probably, right?
Maybe the first kind of pitches were
being
thrown around.
Whenever they bought Fox, that's when it really started happening.
Why are they taking my Deadpool and Wolverine one?
So I bet the TVA shows up. Now that makes me wonder: do we think Deadpool shows up at all?
I was about to ask.
In this last season.
I'm sure that that's the thing. The writers basically write a million things, put it on a wall, and then they choose like the 8 to stick with. I know those writers were like, someone was like, "Please let me write the Deadpool."
I mean, if Deadpool wanders in a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque way, where he is three-dimensional in a two-dimensional world, like that, I'm here for. Are we okay?
I didn't do anything. If I had to write a what if, it would basically be like Marvel Rivals. I'd be like, what if Jeff and Gwenpool came and met Deadpool, which is already a comic book, I would make something.
Mine would be, what if Frank came home from work that day, where he doesn't get shrunk down into goo and flushed down the toilet. Frank gets to go home, see his family again. His son doesn't dive into a life of drugs when his dad randomly disappeared one day and they assumed he just ran away from the family.
What if...
and it'll just be a slow drama piece about Frank living out the rest of his life.
I would not watch it, but... You know what I would want?
What?
Damn. What if Tony Stark married Black Widow instead of Peppa?
Instead of Pepper,
I don't think it would work out at all. Maybe 3 days tops. Then they would break up immediately.
She'd probably kill him at some point, I think.
What if Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, they got stuck down there?
Oh,
sure.
I would have loved
it.
What should have happened?
Jeff somewhere over there being like, I know. He now senses it now. He's so used to everyone yelling at him about keeping them down there.
Yeah.
What if Janet stepped on Hank Pym accidentally?
And just killed him?
Just accidentally. She didn't know he was small.
Killed her.
You didn't know he was small.
She didn't know he was small. Just what was that?
Just killed him.
Shuri asking a great question. Do we think Rio or Death shows up in this show? I was gonna bring this up before, where the show is basically catching up to where we are kind of now, based on like delays and things with like the strikes and things like that. But they're still a couple years behind, right? The fact that they're just featuring Shang-Chi and Moon Knight when these were all shows that came out around, or things that came out around when the first season of the show came out.
And even like having Agatha in this season, they would have
really
probably recorded that before they shot Agatha all along.
I think so.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
They got to be thinking that far ahead, and like them knowing that they would put her in this series because they know she was coming back for another season.
I also think they didn't really have that high of hopes for Agatha. And that's why it was like easier to get Agatha in What If that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Because Brad Winderbaum, he did sound like he did not care about Agatha. But I also was like, the fact that you might have recorded this before she started the show or during the show was like you were hoping this would uplift Agatha all along the series, and it didn't need uplifting at all.
Yeah.
Like it was perfectly fine.
It was certainly like one of their lower budget shows.
Yes.
Yeah. And if anything, now people are gonna hear that Agatha is in What If, and they're gonna go to What If to go watch it. But that's why I'm thinking, I'm like, because why wouldn't you have gotten Deadpool? Why wouldn't you have gotten the voices for these people that made the biggest movies? And it's like, they're too big.
Yeah,
it's not that they're too big, but maybe that they were like, that movie was massive.
Yeah.
No one's gonna watch Agatha, and then everyone did.
And everyone did. HMS13 asking, how much do you think the What If writers knew about the current shows and other stuff? We're just talking about this. Probably nothing.
They don't trust them
a
second. No, they probably didn't know much. They don't have to tie in too much.
Yeah. What did they say in the interview? They were just there was the interview that came out that was like, hey, during the pandemic we would lose an episode, that episode would go into the next season.
Yeah.
So they always knew they got like one less thing to pitch.
Right.
And everyone already came with a table full of things. And it was more about making it like the Gundam episode was like, we want to make a Gundam episode.
Right.
It wasn't like we want something that's in the MCU. We want something different. Put our person in a weird universe. So I don't think they really care to know what's the future of the thing, but I do know that they do share a lot of the same writers' rooms, and some people will leave stuff behind for other people to see. Not on purpose, but they'll be like
physical rooms.
Yeah, they'll be in physical writer rooms, and there'll be like sticky notes of like, here's the plot to Moon Knight. It'll be like, oh.
Wow, a real life Easter egg.
I would
think about that.
That's why we're not hired there. That's why they clearly don't hire the fans, because I'd be like,
scouring through the garbage.
Enhance. Telling my phone, everyone's around me like, Jessica, we can hear you.
Me taking a drop of lion's blood and using the Craven Enhance.
Oh no, the supervision.
Yeah.
If I go into the bowels of Marvel and I find that they have that freaking flower from Black Panther, I'm gonna inject it in myself right then and there.
The Purple Heart.
The Purple Heart. I'm gonna inject myself right then and there, and I'm gonna run down the hallway
Well, first you gotta bury yourself in the sand.
Oh yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
Oh,
You gotta
I
die.
don't want to see my family, and I do not want to see my ancestors.
First, Jessica, the power of the Black Panther will be stripped away.
Oh,
okay, that's the first thing.
I forgot. My bad. Damn. Yeah, I don't want to die, nor do I want to see my ancestors. They'd be like, "We are disappointed.
Oh no.
We watch you every day sit on your ass."
My ancestors would be like possums hanging from trees instead of panthers. Just like, hey, look who came here. Look who's back.
You're like, get me out. Get me out of here.
Take the power. I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah, country bear jamboree up in my ancestral plane. What are you talking about?
We also want to thank one of our other sponsors today, True Classic, who makes comfortable, good-looking clothes more affordable than ever. And December is the perfect month to check them out. True Classic sells t-shirts, hoodies, and jeans that are perfect additions to any wardrobe. They're super soft and super comfortable and perfect for cozy winter layering. True Classic offers a ton of bundles and multi-pack options. If you find something you like, it's easy to double down and get your wardrobe that much more dialed in. The holidays are here, and True Classic's ultra-comfortable, perfect-fitting essentials make for the perfect gift for you and anyone in your life. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now and unlock big savings during their huge holiday sale. Just go to use our exclusive link at trueclassic.com/breakroom to save. That's trueclassic.com/breakroom. Support our show and let them know we sent you. End the year with some holiday cheer thanks to True Classic. And lastly, today we want to thank our sponsor Via, makers of premium federally legal cannabis products. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. I, for one, am looking forward to treating myself to an Elevate gummy and burrowing into a bowl of my favorite holiday food. All of Via's products are grown indoors and in state-of-the-art facilities and harvested at peak THCA levels to emphasize a natural aroma and flavor. They add strains to their selection every week, so there's always something new to check out. Via has THC and THC-free gummies, vapes, topicals, and drops, all of which are crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. Plus, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee, no medical card required. This holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 and over, check out the link to Via in our description. For a limited time during the holidays, Via is offering 25% off site-wide, plus up to 50% off select items and bundle. If you're hearing this ad post-sale, you can still save by using code BREAKROOM for 25% off. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Let them know we sent you. Support our show this holiday season and enhance your everyday with Via. All right. Well, we have some pictures that came out from Entertainment Weekly that Jessica's working on a video right now. They'll be out on the channel soon.
Yeah, these just dropped today for their 2025 preview. They do a big preview edition, and they talked about both Thunderbolts and Daredevil. Here's some of the images from Daredevil. Look at his cute little room. No, that's not his room.
That's my room. That's where I do my deeds.
He's like, now that doesn't look like Matt Murdock, though, right? Do we think that's Matt Murdock?
I think it's Matt Murdock.
I think so.
I'm not trying to
face.
I'm also not trying to be this person. First off, it's been 6 years since we've seen him in these outfits.
That's true. Well, no, he was an Echo.
Oh, he was an Echo. Different little outfit, maybe. But also, if they did give Muse that outfit or Bullseye that outfit, that would be just a continuation of what we did in season 3, and I don't need to see that.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
Bullseye took his literal outfit. I don't need to see another villain in his outfit.
Not everyone watched it. That's
But
what you do with
we
Daredevil.
all did.
That's what you do with Daredevil.
Bring up the other Daredevil picture. All right, so that's him right there, right, talking to Karen. Do you think this is pre-Foggy dying or post-Foggy dying?
Why is everybody saying this is Foggy's dead?
Evan is praying for Foggy.
I'm not praying. I just say that's probably...
They're in a courtroom, or it looks like they're in a
Yeah, but they're taking
courthouse.
a moment to debrief. They're like, are we
But
okay?
he doesn't look as hysterical as he would be.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm saying, yes.
When he's in his weird little panic room with the spray paint cans, that's after Foggy's dead.
Bring
Foggy's
that up
on the ground right there.
So yeah, you're right. He is a little bit more in this. We're looking at the photo from a little far away.
Spray paint,
he's a little scruffier in here. Do you think this is during the blip? We don't know. We still don't know if this show is all post-blip. I mean, it's likely mostly post-blip, but we don't. There was an early rumor that the show could take place back through time and stuff like that.
We saw some set photos where a date on a church billboard indicated it.
And I can't quite remember if that was pre-creative overhaul. Or
I think that was
pre-creative
overhaul.
And they talked about it a lot. And
sequences on the Echo show, which featured Echo and Daredevil fighting, was during the blip.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to make that scene during the blip, because that scene was actually in the... Can you bring up the photo of Daredevil again? This clip was actually in the look ahead. You just don't see... It's not the still of him standing there, but it's him beating the Muse up in the look ahead. And so if the Muse was alive during the blip and was just murdering people for art, that would be horrible.
We still don't... Well, I guess they know Thanos snapped, because when... I'm thinking back in Endgame, right, when the Russo brother is at the little meeting with Captain America.
Yeah, the therapy
That's
session.
during the blip that's going on. And they know about Thanos and everything at that point. The whole public knows?
The whole public knows a version of that story.
Because Miss Marvel knew about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure are you asking if Daredevil... I'm sure he knows.
Yeah,
I just think at the moment it happened...
Matt Murdock knows. A religious gentleman... Okay, very Catholic. We know this is part of his upbringing. Does he think the rapture happened? And he's like, I got left behind by Jesus, and now I'm going to kill everybody?
I think during that second, he absolutely did, because he probably could hear everyone in the city, and then it just went silent.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just went silent.
Or
he
only heard people on the left side. It's like when your headphones get unplugged a little bit, and you're like, what happened?
Oh, my right. My right ain't working. I'm here. Who's there?
There's got to be a second Matt Murdock thinks this is a religious thing.
Oh, no, 100. I would have thought it was a religious thing immediately.
And then a couple weeks in, he gets a call from Okoye, where it's hi, my name's Okoye. I work for the Avengers now. I'm going down the list. I have to call every known hero. We're just letting you know. We're going to tell the public in a couple weeks. Yeah. There was this guy Thanos. Some people failed to stop him. I was there, but I was busy during the fight. Okay. We're just letting you know it wasn't a religious thing. This is alien. Okay. If you could tell Foggy and Karen, I see they're associate of yours. Thanks so much. Bye.
Wait, no. I'm Matt. Okay. What can I do to help?
Well, we're good.
Are you sure? Really. I can come. I can make it. Are you guys in New York?
I'm not at liberty to say. I don't think I can say. Listen.
How do you pronounce your name again? What is it?
It's Okoye. Listen, Scarlet, Black Widow's calling me, and she calls a lot. Okay. Sometimes it's just an earthquake. You're not gonna get that reference, but listen, Matt, it's been a real pleasure.
Your kids are gonna love it.
I gotta go.
Your kids are gonna love it. Can I do anything to help? Maybe you just stay back.
You sure it wasn't Jesus? Because I've been killing a lot of people in the name of Jesus Christ.
What happened? That'd be the saddest thing for Daredevil when he sees Thor and he's like, so what have I been doing? What have I been doing my entire life?
Hey, Thor. Did you ever see God?
Jesus.
When I say God, I mean my God.
And,
you know what I mean?
And in the most respectful way, meeting Thor and being if all gods are like him, they're idiots. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I would literally be like, I don't want this man.
Thor's like, you mean that carpenter fella they hung up on the cross? He was no god. He was just a man who got swept up in some things.
Oh my God. Daredevil will just take off the mask and walk away. Walk into the Hudson Bay. I I would disappear. You would never see me again.
Matthew Murdoch, I've met your Jesus Christ. He's no God.
You know God.
I'm a God. Look how much beer I can drink.
A witch, perhaps.
Oh, Matt, did you know about witches? They're very real. Jesus Christ, not so much, but witches, yes. Very real.
He starts naming off all the supernatural ghosts, yes.
Yeah.
Witches, yes, they are.
Yeah.
Aliens, demons, absolutely.
Yes.
But the Lord Jesus Christ,
Yes.
not.
Have you heard of the Noir? They live in the Shadow Realm. No, not that Shadow Realm, a different Shadow Realm. Yes. But no Jesus Christ, not that I know. I've met all of them, I must say. Tough day for Matt Murdock.
Yeah, it's a real tough day. I mean the how they like divulge information, like that timeline must be so interesting, right? Because Iron Man returns to Earth 2 weeks after the.
It was like a month, I think.
A month, right?
Close to a month. Yeah.
So then in that month, it's like they're like, all right. The public has to know aliens are real. The public has to know we all.
The public knows aliens are real. They had an invasion in New York in 2012. They're over aliens.
It was just the drones. It was just the drones.
The Jersey drones. That's a tough week for
a tough week.
Because also you've lost like half of the population, so you're like you're dealing with just like basic infrastructure problems too.
At least the dolphins got to return to the Venice canals, right?
There were humpbacks in the Hudson. Who cares? Who cares?
Let's talk about Thunderbolts. We got these
they also
new
got some Thunderbolt images. Yes.
Here, look, the team's all there, including
guys. The '90s are back. Corduroys, baggy.
Yeah, that outfit they put him in, I was like, damn, he looks stupid. He looks dumb. Where do they get those?
Those are kind of like Century colors, though, right? The like blue and kind of gold a little bit.
Oh yeah, the pants. Yeah.
And now, who's missing from all these pictures? Who's missing from all these pictures?
Taskmaster. No, that's the DC one.
Yeah.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster is the DC version. Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. No Taskmaster in any of these photos. We got one more final photo with Val and this guy.
Oh, that gentleman's been in a lot of stuff.
I forget that guy's name. Yeah. And I did not put it in my video. He's not important. A ton of things. He's not important for what I'm talking about.
No, but he works. That guy works.
Yeah, he's
good
working.
for him.
But I think it's really interesting to think about the timeline between the photo where they're all like kind of tied up
by Bucky. Love
allegedly.
to see it.
And then they're with him. And again, no Taskmaster. Yeah. Does Taskmaster die in that shootout that we see where they first meet Bob?
I think so. I think I mentioned in my video that I'm like definitely gonna die before the second act, but also or incapacitated, of course. But they could have died directly from Bob. I think because that's the thing is realistically, Taskmaster fell out of a falling ship in the sky.
Right.
Has defeated and almost won every fight that she's gone on one-on-one with people with guns. Yeah. So I'm like, this has to be someone with a unique ability or a surprise attack, which doesn't get her normally. So I'm like, it was probably Bob that accidentally used his powers and killed her.
But we also have not seen her fight post being like unbrainwashed, right?
True.
We saw her fighting in the trailer, and then at the when the fire comes out of the vents, she's the one holding onto the door while everyone's getting exploded out. So I'm like,
sacrifice?
Well, I'm like, no, because she's far away enough. Everyone was trying to get out. She's like holding onto the rocks, like, ooh, I'm out of the way.
That's a shame because she was already in one explosion as a young child.
Exactly. It was honestly triggering. She ran back inside.
Man, always the explosions that get me.
So it's somewhere between the escape and the caravan in the desert.
Yeah.
Because
that when they're tied in the limo, right?
Yeah. Those are the people that are in the limo that are tied up. And so I'm like, that he catches up to. So I think she dies on their way out. And we see in the trailer, we see a lot of the outside of a tented area where they're doing like monitoring.
Okay.
And I think it's then when Bob uses powers when he steps outside that accidentally kills Taskmaster.
And do you think they're all sent into that area with by Val, or do you think the only one that's working for Val in that moment is Sebastian Stan or Bucky trying to stop the team, or is she playing them trying to,
I think she's testing them to see if they can actually get inside.
Sure.
And I only assume that because in the interview for Entertainment Weekly, she talks a lot about they say this. She doesn't say this. They say her comic story will be shown throughout the movie.
You're talking about Val?
Val,
okay.
yeah. But I don't like how they worded it in the Entertainment Weekly article. It clearly wasn't Julie Louis-Dreyfus saying it. It was the writer being like, some of the comic will shine. And then it goes on to Julie Louis-Dreyfus showing off her first comic book. So I was like, I think he just kind of put this in there.
But it took me to a fucking comic book store. And I said, I'm not walking in there.
It smells.
Go in there and buy me something and bring it out.
But if it does actually play along with the comics, in the newer Thunderbolts, it's Bucky that approaches her and is like, hey, I have a bunch of intel. Can I join your team? And we create a Thunderbolts. And she's like, sure, let's do that. So I think it's her and him working together, which would give way to the gala scene with him undercover in it. And they are trying to enlist 4 people, and those are the 4 people that they're.
Because Yelena, like, was it implied in Hawkeye? She kind of walks away from Val after she meets Kate Bishop and she's there to kill Hawkeye, right? And then she finds out what's actually happening.
Yeah, she like walked away, but I think she still works for Val. She has nothing. Because also the story's
the
about
trailer kind of teases that she's like screw Val basically.
But right? I think that lab that she blows up and takes the guinea pig, she's still working for Val.
Okay.
I think she's just really depressed and doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, low risk jobs like saving guinea pigs.
Me.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's me.
What was that guinea pig movie? That Disney movie?
G-Force, baby.
G-Force.
Oh, you know that one off the top of your head.
This guy.
Give you a movie that came out in 1950, you're like, nope.
I don't know any 1950 movies.
I don't know, 60s, 50s, 70s.
Cask of the Amontillado?
I don't get this reference. I don't like this.
I'm closing my eyes.
I don't like this at all.
I think that Entertainment Weekly article though for the Thunderbolts is really good and very telling for Val. The interview that they did with Daredevil Born Again. It was more so they were just we've known about this for so long. They've done so many interviews that this interview is them being like, yeah, before this, it was this kind of show. And I was like, yeah, we knew this. And they were like showing us things that we've already known. Right.
It's probably tough to talk about it because you don't want to be like, oh, we were working on something and then we realized it was a hot mess, so we had to like change things.
Yeah.
Also, all the actors and writers went on strike because they realized the way we did things is not cool.
Yeah.
So we changed it.
Yep.
It's like, okay.
And they really jump over those parts so quick. They talk more about the look ahead where it's the scene of them laughing.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, that was improvised. Yeah. And I was like, this doesn't help me.
We didn't want to put Karen or Foggy on this show, but you guys made us. So we did exactly what you asked.
And it's going to be great.
And Foggy definitely lives. If anyone, they should just let Vinny D talk about the show because Vinny D, he's a hype man. Yeah, he likes playing Kingpin. Yeah, he really goes hard when he talks about the show.
You said Vinny D. I said, who are you talking about?
You don't call him Vinny D?
We're not homies like that.
Okay.
I call him Vincent D'Onofrio.
Me and Vinny D, dude, we go crazy. We go to the restaurant and we're like, give me sugar with water, sugar like this,
and pulled my face all the way back.
A guy came in the other day with a bite. He's only seen Men in Black International. That's the only one
I've seen the first Men in Black.
Okay. I was like,
I just forgot he was in it.
That's the best line. More sugar.
Give me sugar.
Oh, because he's the guy.
He's the ant.
He's Ed.
Yeah.
He's a cockroach.
He is a cockroach.
He's a bud.
I will say, which I get into in my video, one of the parts of the article that's really, I hate, they say, we're going to do something in the series that has never been seen in 40 years of comic books.
What?
And I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? I was
They're going to do something in a movie that hasn't been seen in 40 years.
For Daredevil Born Again.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going back.
I thought they meant all comic books ever.
Well, that's what I was like, do you mean all comic books? Because I'm sure what you're going to do has been done in like
what do you think
a Dark Horse
they could be doing that has never been done?
You know what I immediately said? I suggested spoilers. Well, you guys get a little preview.
Karen Page is going to be
what? Maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong. I was like, maybe Wilson Fisk was right. Wait, maybe it's like it's gonna be. I like
he goes off the deep end too far,
or just the entire time.
Okay,
he's been right, not in the Netflix, but in the MCU. Kingpin has been right. When we saw him in Echo, we saw him in Hawkeye. Maybe it was right. And the only reason I'm suggesting that is because in the comic books, we know Wilson Fisk is never right. We know he is wrong. But in the Thunderbolts trailer, Val does say, like, there's bad guys and there's worse guys. That's all there is in the world. And I'm like, what if they're pushing this narrative that, like, sometimes you gotta work with the bad guys to get rid of the worst guys? And if that is Wilson Fisk running for mayor, and I think the two stories are, and I think that's why they chose those. I mean, yes, it's a 2025 preview, but I was like,
Wilson Fisk
Kingpin's gonna show up in both. I think he's gonna be in Thunderbolts and he's gonna be in this. I think he's gonna be at the gala in New York with all the property. Because that's also a comic book line for Thunderbolts. They want Red Skull's fortune, and he's overseeing the fortune that Red Skull is giving to the Hellfire Club. And I'm like, I think Wilson Fisk is gonna be in both of these things, and he's not really a bad guy, but he's a monster clearly. But it's like maybe what he was doing that was wrong actually did right for the country.
He's running for mayor in New York against Eric Adams, and they're like, honestly, Wilson Fisk is a better option.
Do you think that gala is a Hellfire gala, or do you think it's just a stand-in?
I think it's gonna be. In the comics, it was for Hellfire because it was like bad people, and they were going undercover as bad people because Bucky and Yelena and them are bad people. But I think they're gonna swap it and make it billionaires, and they're gonna be like the Hellfire Club. They're gonna be the villains.
Because it would be absolutely insane if it was Hellfire Club and they just like, and here's Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw. They're like quiet, just like. Soft launch.
Marvel, you get one more shot at Emma Frost, and then I'm done forever.
I would eat it up. I would eat it up. They don't need to explain anything. Just show those two. That's where I think Wilson Fisk is going to show up, is at that gala. It's just going to be there shaking hands. If you want to give me Emma Frost and Sebastian, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go what? Yeah. Go ahead. I would eat that. Yeah, if it's billionaires in New York, you better give me the ones that are in the MCU still. Like, not just like politicians. I'm like, I also want to see like, for some reason, I don't think Sam Wilson would be there, but I'm like, I want to see the billionaires. I want to see the billionaires of New York, which is Wilson Fisk.
Maybe they'll show Wilson Fisk winning by like, he takes over Hell's Kitchen, he does redevelop it, and then they show like Matt Murdock like going into an Eataly in Hell's Kitchen and being like, you know what? Kingpin was right.
Kingpin was right. This is perfect.
This is so nice. Great.
They're working. They're clearly going to be working together.
Yeah. He passes by like old mom and pop whose shop got shut down, and they're like, Matt, you didn't help us. He's like, shut up, bitch. I got an Eataly around the street now. I don't got to go all the way uptown to get to my Eataly. Shut up. But Matt, you said you'd help with the leasing August. Shut up. Wilson's done a good thing. Look at this. It's beautiful. Look at all the trash cans.
I'm not thinking about the past.
I'm not thinking about the past.
I lived in the past this entire time. I'm learning in the future. I'm in the future now.
But they took away already. You had a C rating. You couldn't even get an A.
But the pickles.
We missed so many pickles. You loved them, Matt. I'm not even blind, lady. I can see just fine. It's like an echolocation thing.
I can hear the pickles.
I can hear the pickles. I can hear all the rats in your kitchen.
They were never quite pickled. They were like 2 more days tops. Keep it in the brine. Were you looking at who you want to play Emma Frost?
No, this is the first person that came to mind that I was like, who's probably available right now to play Emma Frost?
Who'd you go with?
Lily Reinhart from Riverdale.
I don't think she's mean enough. I still want that meanness of Emma Frost. I want that like utterly confident meanness of Emma Frost that I do think what's her name did do a good job of from Mad Men.
January Jones.
I think she was. It felt like oblivious, but it was also like I just don't care. Yeah, it's ice. Yeah. It's like I don't care.
It's just tough. I'm trying to think because like that's kind of like the age range of actors and actresses I know, like this like younger like mid 20s.
You could give it to Anya Taylor-Joy. I guess.
I
think she's still too young. She's
a little too big.
If you don't have Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, she could have been.
She could have been.
Put a blonde wig on Rebecca Ferguson. Make her Emma Frost.
No, I don't think Rebecca Ferguson would.
She could be mean. She
could be mean. Yeah. I think she's too old.
Yeah. I'm thinking like people you want to invest in. I am Iron Man 10 saying Elizabeth Gillies from Victorious. You know her?
Yeah, she would be mean. Oh, those eyebrows are already giving like I don't want to be here. She'd be great. Honestly, and also throw her back in. I will say I love Elizabeth Gillies, and I know that I'm setting a digital footprint right now. She still acts like she's in a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When you put her in acting roles today, she's always like, "What do you mean? There's roach in the pudding?" And I'm like.
Roach in the pudding.
I said, this is giving Victorious. I love, and same with Sky Jackson. Anytime she's in a role today, she's just giving Disney Channel acting. That's like, oh, bother. And it looks directly down the camera.
Oh, speaking of Disney Channel, Shri also say Dove Cameron.
Oh, she could have ate that
Dove
up.
Cameron could do
She's very young, but she could have ate that
up. Christian Unpronounceable saying a Nicole Kidman type. Omar37 saying Margot Robbie.
I was thinking Margot
Robbie.
Yeah,
she could.
But if we're doing too big,
she's too big, and Emma Frost is a big character, but she's never getting like a standalone movie.
And that's the thing. We need to think about people that are like, think of like not the same, but like Drew Barrymore during the Batman movie with Val Kilmer.
I mean, she just was like in there for a second.
Yeah, but I was like, but she wasn't.
Was that
big
like
enough
Sugar
yet.
and Spice or whatever?
Yeah, Sugar and Spice. It was supposed to be like
she was coming back into Hollywood a little bit after
a
little time away.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I think you need to get like not a Sydney Sweeney, but someone that's at that level.
Okay. Okay. We'll think about it.
All right.
We'll think about it, and I'll cast it immediately. I know who to talk to. I know exactly who to talk to.
Well, yeah, let us know what you think about who should play Emma Frost, clearly related to what you clicked on.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think of What If Season 3, what you're most excited for. These what MCU project you're most excited for. We did a 2025 hype list that's coming out on the channel soon.
Very excited.
To talk about some of the things we're most excited for, and you might be surprised where some of the projects land.
Yeah, and we want to remind
Joker for All You Do at number 1.
Oh no, that was you last year.
You don't need to out me like that.
No one remembers. Mistake.
No one remembers.
Listen,
that.
we were all hyped
for
that movie.
That.
Yeah, we were all got low key.
Why would you throw me under that?
You brought it up.
I was just joking.
You brought it up.
Made it real.
You were just joking for all I do.
You hurt my feelings.
Wait, one final request. Sabrina Carpenter. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I was thinking Sabrina Carpenter. I think she's
short?
Too young and she's
too short.
She, no matter what age that woman will be, she will look 12 to me.
Yeah,
because she's just so tiny. Yeah, she's
what about Renee Rapp? Could Renee Rapp be Emma Frost?
Renee Rapp would be what my version.
She's got an icy.
Renee Rapp would be my version of Emma Frost, 100%. I don't think she's Marvel's version of.
Okay, I got you.
Because she is a fucking man, and I love it. I love it. Oh my god, I think she is too beautiful for Marvel's Emma Frost.
We want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, click subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube. And if you follow us on Twitch, great. If you don't, follow us on Twitch, where we do videos like this live. And you can be in the chat and say hello. Send in your thoughts of who should play Emma Frost and your other questions. We love having you all in the chat. It was great doing another headline show with you guys today.
Woo! Last headlines of the year. Last live headlines of the year.
Adorable.
Crazy.
What a way to say goodbye to 2024.
Yeah, thinking about who's going to play Emma Frost.
It's
and
true.
naming off as every hot blonde actress in Hollywood. We went great.
I only just...
And brunettes. We started going... I almost said Anna de Armas at one point, and I was like, she's brunette. She's also very tiny.
She's mostly blind. She played Marilyn Monroe.
All right, who will play Sebastian Shaw? Timothy Chalamet.
Sebastian Stan as Sebastian Shaw would be pretty good.
Would be a good one.
Bring him back in MCU. He doesn't have
enough. Follow us on Breakroom and on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. We'll catch you next time. Tune in tomorrow. We'll see you then. Later, skaters. Goodbye.
Bye.